In the world, there are places of extraordinary nature, but surely you would have never imagined that there is a country with such a strong connection with nature that children and adults bathe in small streams a few meters away from huge crocodiles without any kind of fence or protection. In this new video of Uncensored World, we are going to know in more detail Costa Rica, one of the wildest, but at the same time fascinating countries on the planet. Costa Rica, a small country with more than 100 volcanoes, which has such surprising realities as being considered one of the places where it is easier to flirt in the world. A place with unique curiosities, such as being the territory with the greatest biodiversity per square meter of the planet, not having an army, autumn or spring, or having a mysterious island where there have been reported sightings of ghost ships, famous for being the lost island of the movie Jurassic Park. Pay attention and don't miss this video because we assure you that everything in it will surprise you. Let's get started. Costa Rica, officially the Republic of Costa Rica, is located in Central America, bordering Nicaragua to the north and Panama to the southeast. With an area of approximately 51,000 square kilometers, smaller than Switzerland in Europe, this small country is known for its exceptional biodiversity and its commitment to environmental sustainability. Among other facts that you will soon know in more detail, 99% of the energy consumed in Costa Rica is renewable. 25% of its territory is protected, and although it only occupies 0.03% of the Earth's surface, in this small space live approximately 5% of the known animal and plant species, something that has a lot to do with the unusual and, for many, incredible way in which the Tikos and Tikas, as people born in Costa Rica are called, coexist with animals. The name Costa Rica, which translates as rich coast in Spanish, accurately reflects the reality of this tiny country. Costa Rica has two coasts that offer paradisiacal beaches, dense tropical rainforests, and more than 100 volcanoes, some of them active. In addition, it has an amazing and unique biodiversity in flora and fauna, as well as valuable natural resources. Historically, Costa Rica has been an example of political stability in Latin America. From pre-Columbian times, when it was inhabited by indigenous peoples such as the Barucas and Bribri, to the arrival of the Spanish colonizers in the 16th century, Costa Rica has experienced a diverse cultural evolution. Today, the country continues to celebrate this diversity through colorful festivities such as the Lyman Carnival or the Baruca Mask Festival, which highlight the rich cultural heritage and local craftsmanship. A good example of this fusion of the ancient and the present in Costa Rican history can be seen in the annual festivities known as the Juego de los Diablitos, or Fireball Festival, where the indigenous community of Baruca uses elaborate masks and costumes to represent a historical battle between the indigenous people and the Spanish conquistadors. During these celebrations, they throw fireballs made of rags soaked in gasoline. Although small in size, its history is marked by a past of peace and abolition of the army since the year 1948, prioritizing educational and social development. That is why Costa Rica is one of the few countries in the world that does not have an army, along with countries such as Andorra, Iceland, Mauritius, or Monaco. The army was abolished after the Civil War. The then president declared, not wanting any army of soldiers, but instead wanting an army of educators. Since then, there is no permanent armed organization in Costa Rica. Instead, the literacy rate is one of the highest in the world, reaching up to 98%. This is remarkable, especially considering the country's vast rural areas and in comparison to its neighbors. One fact that surprises many people about Costa Ricans is the reason for their nickname, the Tikos. The story goes back a long way and has to do with a pirate legend that you are about to learn about. In the years 1856 and 57, Costa Rica was besieged by armies of pirates who wanted to raid its coasts. In response to this threat, Costa Rica received help from soldiers from neighboring countries. During this time, foreigners noted the frequent use of diminutives by Costa Ricans, such as Chiquitico or Buenico. They also observed that Costa Ricans affectionately referred to their compatriots as hermaniticos. With time and continued use, these terms became popular and the country's inhabitants began to be known as Tikos and Tikas, a distinctive part of the culture and history of this beautiful country. Its population of over 5 million is distinguished by its hospitality and cultural identity, rooted in indigenous traditions, mestizaje, and Spanish influence. An interesting fact for Costa Ricans, as well as for tourists and visitors to this country, is that it is considered one of the happiest countries on the planet. Costa Rica lives up to its most famous slogan, Pura Vida, pure life, since the UN Global Happiness Report of 2024 places this country as the 12th happiest in the world, the first in Latin America, since it is the first in this list behind European countries. After the research we have done in Uncensored World, we believe that much of this happiness is due to the incredible nature of this country, as well as one of the data that we will soon go into more detail, which is that it is one of the countries where it is easier to succeed in flirting. But before that, it is good to understand the reason for the Pura Vida slogan, and what are other realities that make this beautiful country unique. Costa Rica adopted the slogan, Pura Vida, pure life, as an expression that reflects the way of life and the mood of the Tikos. This term has no specific documented history of origin, but it has become a symbol of national identity and a representation of the positive attitude and relaxed lifestyle that characterizes the country. That is why Pura Vida is commonly used in Costa Rica as an informal greeting, a positive response to how one is doing, or simply as a way of expressing contentment or well-being. So if you travel to this country, it is common that any Tiko will greet you using this motto. In addition, this slogan has been integrated into the country's tourism promotion, highlighting its focus on environmental sustainability, peace and security, and the quality of life of its inhabitants. Starting with environmental sustainability and nature, it is correct to say that these realities are two of the fundamental ingredients of its national identity. The country has more than 25% of its territory protected, or in other words, a quarter of the country's surface area is considered national parks, and therefore fully protected from possible destruction. With an impressive network of national parks and nature reserves, such as Corcovado National Park and Arenal Volcano National Park, the country attracts visitors from all over the world in search of ecotourism adventures and wildlife watching. This country is located in the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most seismically and volcanically active regions of the world, something that has a lot to do with the fact that Costa Rica has 112 volcanoes, 5 of them currently active. These active volcanoes are spectacular. One of them is the Poas volcano, known for its boiling acid lake, while the Irazu volcano stands out for its impressive blue-green lake. Others like Turrialba and Rincón de la Vieja offer impressive and unique landscapes in Costa Rica. But one of these active volcanoes stands out above the rest: Arenal volcano. This is the most famous in all of Costa Rica, and one of the most beautiful in Latin America. What makes Arenal volcano unique is its perfectly symmetrical cone and its constant volcanic activity. In addition, its location amidst lush tropical rainforests and its proximity to the famous Lake Arenal make it a popular tourist destination and a natural wonder unlike any other in the country. Aside from its volcanoes, Costa Rica has also gained worldwide renown in the surfing community for being home to some of the best waves on the planet. Its strategic location between two oceans, the Pacific and the Atlantic, also known as the Caribbean Sea, provides ideal conditions for surfers of all levels. On the Pacific coast, destinations such as Playa Tamarindo, Playa Hermosa, and Santa Teresa are known for their powerful waves, attracting surfers from all over the world in search of exciting sessions in the water. On the other coast, the Caribbean beaches, such as Puerto Viejo and Playa Cocles, offer a more relaxed atmosphere and waves that are ideal for beginners and intermediate surfers. In addition to being a surfer's paradise, Costa Rica is a country of great scenic diversity thanks to its two coasts. The Pacific coast is famous for its breathtaking sunsets, golden sand beaches, and spectacular rock formations that stretch from the north to the south of the country. In contrast, the Caribbean coast offers a more lush and tropical landscape, with white sand beaches fringed by dense forests and coral reefs. This duality and the unique characteristics of this small country make it possible to enjoy sunrise and sunset on the same day, as both coasts are separated by only approximately 200 kilometers at their shortest point. This geographic proximity, along with its location near the equator, also contributes to Costa Rica's sunrise and sunset at approximately the same time each day. In addition, because of this proximity to the equator, the country does not experience traditional seasons such as autumn or spring. Instead, Costa Rica enjoys a year-round tropical climate, with variations in rainfall depending on the region and season. So many splendid natural conditions mean that in Costa Rica, 99% of the energy used comes from the country itself. Almost all the energy produced and consumed in Costa Rica is hydroelectric, but it also comes from other sources such as geothermal or wind energy. Less than 1% of their energy comes from fuels, which means that they are ahead of most countries in the world in terms of sustainability. A very curious fact about energy in this country is that San Jose, its capital, was the first city in Latin America and the third in the world, after New York and Paris, to have electric lighting in the year 1884. In the 80s, much of the surface of this green jewel was devastated by deforestation. But thanks to a change in the country's environmental policy, it was able to recover its forest cover. Today, half of the country is covered by forests and a quarter of its territory is protected. Therefore, Costa Rica is a perfect destination for an adventure trip where you can explore its unique nature and visit its numerous national parks and biological reserves. This positive reality is closely related to the preservation of the main characteristic of this fascinating country, its biodiversity. As you know, despite its relatively small size, Costa Rica is home to approximately 5% of the world's biodiversity, which is impressive and makes it one of the richest countries in biodiversity per unit area on the planet. The best way to enjoy the extraordinary biodiversity is to explore some of its outstanding parks and protected areas. Among the most interesting are Manuel Antonio National Park, known for its stunning beaches and trails through wildlife-filled rainforests. Another must-see destination is Tortuguero National Park, famous for being an important nesting site for sea turtles and for its extensive canals surrounded by lush vegetation. In these parks, you can marvel at the diversity of flora and fauna that Costa Rica has to offer. Among the most striking fauna are the quetzals, brightly colored birds that are a symbol of the country's natural beauty. You will also be able to observe jaguars, big cats that are Costa Rica's main land predator, and an emblematic species in danger of extinction. Although in this case it is better that you go accompanied and see them from a distance. Among the most curious mammals are the howler monkeys, known for their striking cries that can be heard for long distances in the jungle. These primates have the peculiarity of being the loudest in the animal world and play a crucial role in seed dispersal in forest ecosystems. Sloths are perhaps the most outstanding attraction in the country, animals that hypnotize by moving slowly among the branches of the trees. As for the poisonous fauna, Costa Rica is home to an impressive variety of snakes and poisonous frogs that you have to take into account if you travel to the country. Among the best-known snakes are the velvet snake or the yellow beard, both very poisonous that are often seen perched on tree trunks. So it is recommended never to lean on a tree in this country without looking before the surface to be touched. As for frogs, the poison arrow frog is one of the most poisonous animals in the world and has bright colors that warn predators of its toxicity. Some species of these frogs, such as those of the genus Dendrobates, produce extremely potent toxins in their skin. These toxins are so powerful that they can cause death in humans just by touching the frog's skin. For this reason, they are known as arrow frogs, due to the toxicity of their skin that the Indians used to poison the arrows used in hunting. In addition to these animals, the presence of crocodiles in the rivers and estuaries of Costa Rica cannot be overlooked. The American crocodile is the most common species in the country and can reach impressive sizes, being one of the biggest crocodile species in the world. One of the best places from where you can observe these crocodiles is the Tarcolas River, a place where daily excursions are made in small boats along the river to be able to observe closely and photograph, even at less than a meter, such large predators. But this is a place where you have to be very careful because every few years accidents are reported, many times fatal, of people who go into this river and end up in the jaws of these huge crocodiles. In spite of these dangers, Costa Rica is surely one of the countries where there is the greatest connection between humans and animals, whatever type they may be. A connection that is surprising in places like Manuel Antonio National Park and one of the streams on the sides of the most beautiful of its beaches. In the area where the small river meets the sea, there is a kind of natural pond where it is very common to observe people swimming in total tranquility. Families of adults, children, or pets are entertained while they refresh themselves in this area, without knowing many times that in streams like this and many others in the country, there are crocodiles that watch them very closely. Such is the point that on many occasions people can be observed feeding these fearful animals in this area, and on occasions the park has even been notified of an accident. Unfortunately, this action of feeding crocodiles in a natural habitat so close to that of people is changing the feeding habits of these dangerous animals to the point that there are many occasions in which dogs and other pets have mysteriously disappeared in places like these. Although it may seem surprising, Costa Rican society has such an extraordinary way of respecting animals and coexisting with them, that in places like this they do not create barriers or expel these animals from their natural habitat. If one day you are lucky enough to enjoy a paradise like Manuel Antonio Beach in Costa Rica, we advise you to be careful if you go to the jungle area on the left side of the beach. There you will find, only if you pay close attention, small signs that blend in with the jungle and warn you of the presence of these crocodiles. This wild nature, biodiversity, and unique geography make this country the dream destination for adventure and ecological tourism. In Costa Rica, you can, besides enjoying everything you are knowing, also cross the rainforest on the longest zip line in Latin America, go down a whitewater river in rafting or kayaking, or trek to the Chiripo Mountain, almost 4,000 meters high. But perhaps your intention or interest in Costa Rica has less to do with this type of tourism than with another type of tourism known worldwide in this region, a more intimate one in which people seek to meet other people and succeed in the art of seduction. In San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, or towns like Jaco, one of the tourist meccas of the country, much of its population is very young, and the atmosphere is very conducive to meet new people. In addition, Costa Rica is a very liberal country, and locals are very attracted to Westerners, which facilitates interactions between tourists and residents. Many bars and nightclubs not only offer quality music and drinks, but are also safe and welcoming spaces where it is easy to start a conversation and meet someone new. The vibrant atmosphere and Costa Rican hospitality create the best environment for romance and new friendships. Although it is also important to keep in mind that in this city and others in the country, some of the women who frequent the nightlife areas are professionals, so it is essential to be aware of this reality when socializing in these places. All this information comes from a study conducted by the most famous dating app, which ensures that Costa Rica is among the 15 countries where it is easier to flirt, both men and women worldwide, which further underlines the ease of finding a partner in this tropical country. With all this, we take the opportunity to ask you, what has surprised you most about Costa Rica? Would you like to know it or its people? Pause the video and leave us your comment. As you know, it is the best way to support us and help us to continue working to bring you the best content every week. So, thank you. Thanks for being part of Uncensored World. If you haven't done it yet, don't wait any longer and click on the subscribe button to not miss any of our videos. Surely you will have much more difficulties to flirt than to orient yourself in some cities of this country like San Jose, because a surprising curiosity is that unlike many other cities, the streets of San Jose have no name. In some areas, the streets are numbered, but in general, detailed directions and help from locals will be essential. GPS will help here if you drive a car, but in the case of walking, the best help will be to get used to following the directions of Costa Ricans. Orientation is based more on landmarks and distances from those points, which can be disconcerting at first. Probably the most mysterious and unknown place in Costa Rica is its most famous island, Cocos Island. This is the most remote place in Costa Rica, and it is located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean about 600 kilometers from the mainland. Cocos Island is a completely uninhabited place but famous worldwide because the beginning of the movie Jurassic Park was filmed there. This island is known for its exuberant biodiversity and its isolation, which gives it an air of mystery and adventure. Cocos Island and its surrounding waters are a paradise for marine biologists and ecologists. This natural enclave is home to fascinating species such as hammerhead sharks, white-tip sharks, and a great variety of fish and corals, making it a unique place for the study of marine biodiversity. This ecosystem and its ecological importance led UNESCO to declare the island as a World Heritage Site in the year 1997. In addition to its natural wealth, Cocos Island is also shrouded in legends and mysteries, including stories of ghost ships that are said to sail its waters. According to these legends, several pirate ships that once ventured in search of treasure on the island mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind tales of ghostly vessels that can still be seen on foggy nights. These sightings could be related to the island's extreme weather conditions and isolated geography, conditions that can disorient sailors and cause maritime accidents. Costa Rica is accessible from many countries thanks to its two main international airports, Juan Santa Maria International Airport, SJO, in San Jose, and Daniel Oduber Quiros International Airport, LIR, in Liberia, Guanacaste. Many airlines offer direct flights from major cities in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Latin America. Once in the country, you can easily get around by domestic flights, buses, or by renting a car. To enter Costa Rica, citizens of many countries, including the United States, Canada, the European Union, and most Latin American countries, do not require a visa for stays of up to 90 days. Although Costa Rica is considered one of the safest countries in Central America, it is always important, as in any tourist destination, to take basic safety precautions, such as not displaying valuables, avoiding walking alone in unfamiliar areas at night, and using ATMs in safe places. Although Costa Rica is considered one of the most expensive countries in Central America, it is possible to travel without spending a lot of money if you plan carefully. Although many of the activities are geared towards American tourists or honeymooners and have a higher cost, there are also inexpensive options available. For example, a coffee at a local coffee shop can cost between $1 and $3, while a domestic beer at a bar or restaurant generally costs between $2 and $4. The cost of a night in a hotel can also vary considerably. For example, a budget hotel costs between $30 to $50 per night, while a luxury hotel can cost between $150 to $300 per night. From Uncensored World, we hope that this tour of Costa Rica has been as fascinating for you as it has been for us, thinking about it, and the effort it takes us to make these videos. If you have enjoyed this video and you are not yet subscribed, do not wait any longer and do it now by activating the little bell so you do not miss the fascinating videos we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now to know another of the most fascinating corners of the planet. Don't miss it and discover the wonders that this place has to offer.